The United States Rocket Academy is a nonprofit educational organization. Our purpose is to study the use of human spaceflight for commercial, military, and scientific purposes. Our flagship project at the moment is Citizens in Space. Citizens in Space is a project which promotes human spaceflight for citizen science and citizen space exploration. And for our first phase, we purchased 10 flights from U.S.R.A. on the Lynx rocket plane. We're going to be flying 100 citizen science experiments and 10 citizen astronauts as payload operators.
Last time we talked, you had already had 2 possibly confirmed scientists to go for 2 of those 10 flights. Do you have any other prospective citizen astronauts?
Yes, we have 4 citizen astronauts who are in training at the moment. We have a 5th who we'll be naming by the end of this summer, and we'll be choosing 5 more after that. We'll be looking primarily at people who have submitted experiments to us as the candidates. So if you want to become one of our citizen astronauts, the best way to get involved is to build hardware, submit it to us, and if we like your hardware, we like your experiment, and we like you, then we'll invite you to apply.
With the different updates that have been going on with the Lynx, has your criteria of what experiments can and cannot fly changed?
Well, we're really looking for 2 classes of experiments at the moment. We're looking for experiments which will fly in the aft cowling port, which will be exposed to space, but most of our experiments will be flying within the Lynx cabin. They're in the space known as Payload B in the Lynx user guide. But there's not really a lot of information in the user's guide about that payload space. The reason being that X-Corps has been busy building their vehicle and hasn't really had a lot of time to look at defining those payload interfaces. So what we've done is we've gone ahead and we've taken upon some of that work ourselves. We've entered into a partnership with the Space Engineering Research Center, which is a research agency of the state of Texas, and the Department of Industrial and System Engineering at Texas A&M University. And we built what we call the Lynx payload carrier. I should say we are building because it's still in work at the moment. We just completed our preliminary design review yesterday. We'll be delivering mock-up hardware at the Sub-orbital conference in June, and we'll have flight hardware ready to go by September. So as soon as the Lynx begins to fly, we'll be ready to fly the Lynx Cub payload carrier with mock-up experiments. During the flight test phase, we'll be flying with a lot of instrumentation. We'll have the payload carrier equipped with accelerometers, with thermal sensors, acoustical sensors, and we want to record as much payload as possible, as much data as possible about the flight regime, so that we can provide baseline data to researchers for designing their experiments. We've talked to a number of people at NASA and other places who have developed experiments professionally, and they've told us that this sort of data is really invaluable when it comes to experiment design. So by the time the Lynx enters commercial service, we'll have a very solid database that experimenters can draw upon, as well as having the Lynx carrier, which is open source hardware. We're going to be making it available to all Lynx customers. You will be able to get access to the flight-ready hardware either from the United States Rocket Academy or from X-Corps Aerospace, or you'll be able to get access to the open source hardware design and build your own copy.